My name's I'm Coach Andrew Juliet, a trained peer support worker working with Butabika Recovery College and as well as Peer Nation, Uganda. I'd like to talk about communication in regard to peer support work. Communication is sending and receiving of messages as well as getting feedback. When you're communicating with one another and you've sent the message, you obviously have to receive the feedback so that you can understand one another. And in communication, we have good communication skills or communication qualities that we go through. For example, when you're communicating to your peer, you have to be bold, you have to be confident, and by so doing, when you're confident, you can relate with one another and understand each other better. In communication, you also have to be clear and audible. When you're not audible, how will your peer hear you? You need to be audible and clear and precise to the point when you're communicating with your peer. And also, putting in mind that in communication, we too have barriers when we are going out there to offer peer support work in the community. For example, you may find a peer who has a physical disability, maybe is disabled, for example, has ear impairment, is deaf, or is dumb, or even can be disabled, maybe lame on the legs, because you may want maybe to move around this peer to help. So all those barriers can make communication be a hazard when you're doing your peer support work. In communication, as you do your peer support work in the community, you may find language barrier. You find a person, now like me, I'm a Mulugwara. You give me somebody who is a Munyankole, I don't know Lunyankole. What do? All I have to do is to swap up with somebody who is speaking in this language so that they can fit in well and understand each other. I have a simple illustration on back-to-back communication. Rachel and Hakim. Let's assume that Hakim has come to visit Rachel and they want to communicate with one another. But in so doing, Hakim is not looking at Rachel's face and Rachel is not looking at Hakim's face. But I want to see how the barrier can be differentiated. So Hakim has a simple pictorial picture in his paper. So I want to see if Rachel will perceive it exactly or differently. So let us start. Okay, that is enough. Time is up. So you can go back to your seats. Now you give me this and give me that. So I would like us to check if Rachel has got it right. This one was Hakim, the peer support worker, who is going to visit the peer Rachel. If you see this picture, has Rachel perceived everything? There's a difference. She almost got it right, but there's still a difference in her perception. You may find out that in communication, as we do our peer support work there, peers have different perception of perceiving things in a different way and understanding peer support work. When they are relating to one another, it's all different. Can get it right or get it wrong, but it's all okay when you're doing peer support work. So you need not to pinpoint your friends' mistakes. All you have to do is to encourage them, and not only encouraging them, you respect their opinion. Another way of doing peer support work when we are communicating is the rating scale. We rate our peers from one peer to another. There are those whose their intellect is so high and broad in their thinking capacity. They are so knowledgeable what is on ground. And there are those whose knowledge is a bit low. They are average, above average, in understanding this peer support work. We rate them differently. For example, there are those whom you may ask, are you comfortable when you take your medication throughout? Or you say, taking my medication every day is okay for me. And others will say, I think mine I take once when necessary. So I want to do some rating scale here. A few of us are coming to stand here and then they give their point of view. Thank you. Can I have a few of you here? Now, as you can see, I have 5 papers for illustration here on how we get challenges in doing our peer support work. The first one is saying, strongly agree that taking medication is okay. One will say, I agree a little, taking medication is not good for me. Another one will say, I'm in the middle, or one taking it every day, or not taking it every day is okay for me. They will know how to argue it out. And the other one will say, disagree a little. And the last one will say, strongly disagree. Taking medication every day, none of my business. Then I'm going to pose a question. Now, I'm going to ask Peter, why do you strongly agree that taking medication every day is okay? Can you explain to us why?
It's for my well-being, and according to my psychiatrist, he explained to me that taking medication is for life. So coping up is just a challenge to some of us.
That is it. A peer in the community talking. It is for him. It's his own opinion. I'm not coercing him. We come to Akim. Why do you stand and say, agreeing a little, that taking medication every day, you agree a little? Why? Can you give us your opinion?
Yeah, I agree a little because medication is taken, but at the same time, there's some other things that go hand in hand with medication. Meaning sometimes you could do some other things alongside medication. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to take it all the time. Or if not, you might take it for some time, then afterwards, you might be given a drug holiday, or you might even be stopped totally and also.
That is Akim's view. We come to Madame Rachel. She says in the middle. So tell us, Madame Rachel, why do you say taking medication every day? You are in the middle.
I'm saying I'm in the middle because I can work without medication, and sometimes I can get medication, so I can use both.
We come to Madame Udaya. Why are you in the middle?
Times when I don't hear my voices, I don't take that medication always. I take the medication when I feel like.
So, thank you very much. You can go back to your sister. As you can see in the rating scale, it all begins with you. If you have a positive attitude towards recovery, believe me not, you can manage yourself. So my key points in communication is that one has to know that we perceive one another differently. One has to also know that we have language barriers when we are doing this peer support work. There are some of us who are not confident when doing this peer support work. There are those who are not bold when doing this peer support work. And there are those who feel that they are able, they can fit in the community, and they do the work very nicely. And you may find that this peer whom they are trying to give support is really coming out of it. Somebody who was weak, somebody who has given up on life is now becoming very productive in the community. So we feel that since we all have lived experience in this peer support work, we can help one another to come out of it. I've seen very many of our friends, for example, these ones who have been here, we've once been there in it. We have lived experience of mental health challenge. We can easily help one another. Today, if I break it down, they're like, Chandu tari bulungi, Chandu is not okay. Maybe she'll have to go and get medical help before things worsen. So we understand one another easily in doing this peer support work. Thank you very much.